Freewheeling on the Road Dog, SiriusXM 106. Meredith Oaks, Chris T., and David Selektar, CEO of KeepAmerica.com, which is a portal for all kinds of places where you can buy made-in-America items. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you. How are you?
Very good.
So far, so good.
How did you start this thing? What made you decide to put all these places together into one website? And when did you do it?
Well, a few different things. It was a little more than a year ago, actually about a year and a half now. It began hearing about all the recalls from China. I have 3 little girls at home, and true story, they were in the bath one day, and I see their toys floating around, and literally paint chips just, peeling off one of their toys. I just heard about all these recalls from China from lead paint and all kinds of unsafe products. And I said, you know what? I had enough. I just kind of scooped them all up, threw them all in the garbage, went online, tried to find some American-made toys and products, and I was shocked how hard it was to find it. So initially I said, you know what? I'm gonna create a site for a few weeks down the line for American-made toys. And I said, you know what? Heard about more recalls, and obviously coupled with the concern of all of our jobs being outsourced, I decided to just create a larger platform of categories across the board to not only bring safe and innovative and high quality goods to the American people, but also help create jobs, which obviously is the biggest problem we're facing here today.
Well, that's what's so great about all these made in U.S. This effort to buy made in USA, to make stuff here if you're the owner of a company. It's not only it's an economic thing, it's a safety issue, and it's a political thing too.
It is. But for once, it's a political issue that no matter if somebody votes left or votes right, it's something we could finally all get behind.
Exactly.
It's not a polarizing issue, where it's, a Democrat or Republican, but it's an American issue that affects all of us, and it's finally something we can all have a solution together on.
Well, how do you respond to folks who say American-made items are more expensive or too expensive?
Right? Yeah, I get that all the time. First of all, it's not always true, and wages in China are rising monthly, as a fact. Now, you can buy cheaper, and again, less quality goods overseas. It won't last as long. It'll break. Again, the safety issues. Plus, on our site, we have a Deal of the Week special, as well as other sales, where our suppliers, to combat the outsourced pricing, deeply reduce their products. This way we can give them high-volume sales, give the consumer lower-priced goods, and it's a win-win for both.
You also have gift certificates on your site as well, so folks can send somebody a gift certificate and they can buy American-made goods with it. That's
right. And I heard you guys discussing it earlier, and it's always a topic whether it's a good gift or not a good gift. The beauty of our gift certificates is you're not only giving just money, but you're actually giving something with a meaning. You're giving a certificate that actually has a direct impact in creating jobs. And I'll give you guys an amazing stat that people aren't aware of. If each one of us just spent $30 a month on an American-made product, and I don't mean extra money, I mean if you just allocate $30 out of your monthly budget on an American-made product, we would collectively create 1 million jobs, over 1 million jobs in our country.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. That little single purchase you make in 1 month can really make a huge impact.
And as far as gift cards being good or bad, listen, any gift is nice. Someone thought of you. Someone went out and it almost doesn't matter. They say it's the thought that counts, and in some ways it is. In some ways, but yeah, just to clear that up. So,
and we've been talking about this for a while now. We do a segment called Made in America, and it seems like it's becoming a growing thing that more and more places want you to know when they have American-made goods in their store, for instance, when they have them on their site. Will we see a day, you think, when we'll walk into a big box store and they'll have a whole aisle of Made in America stuff?
Absolutely. With no doubt about it. I mean, we've already been approached, actually, to possibly create a brick-and-mortar store or possibly sections in other stores as well. And, you mentioned something very important, how you've noticed over the last year especially, more and more products, more and more retailers, are mentioning Made in USA. And I give full credit to consumer demand. I mean, look at Apple. Apple just invested $100 million, to dedicate to creating Macs in the U.S. Believe me, if the consumers weren't demanding it, the whole debacle with Ralph Lauren making the uniforms in China for the Olympics,
The Apple debacle too.
With the China, the factories,
with the Foxconn factory,
right, with the terrible working conditions. I mean, that's not even a topic we've even touched upon yet. The conditions in China and the factories. I mean,
they're horrendous.
Horrendous.
Their human rights record is despicable. It's disgraceful. We really shouldn't even be dealing with them.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the hours are ridiculous. The wages are disgusting. I mean, the environments that they work in. I mean, you feel terrible for these people. I mean, it's near slavery. I got to tell you.
Well, and not to mention what they do with their currency, which is also swings the balance in their favor, and which is why they've been kicking our butts. But you're right, American consumers are demanding this, and it just feels like a growing movement. It's not going anywhere except it's getting larger and larger.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more.
And, David, do you find people begin to see the connection, too, between wages and what they can actually afford? Because part of driving people's wages down is making things outside of the country for the cheapest you possibly can.
Well, look, you know what's sad? Most people that I've spoken to that have been forced to shop at Walmart because the prices are much cheaper there. And by the way, just a little fact for you, besides America, Walmart is the biggest importer out of all nations in the world. After America, and obviously they're based in America, they're the largest importer directly from China in this world, in this country. I mean, I'm sorry, in this planet, which is just mind-boggling. That they import more than any other nation in the world after the United States. And my point being that most people that have been forced to shop at Walmart have had their jobs outsourced by China. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. And look, we have things on our site that are amazingly priced. I mean, we have, for under $10, we have several hundred products. Between $10 and $20, we have almost 1,000 products. We have between $20 and $60, also almost 1,000 products. I mean, we have thousands of products that are amazingly priced. We just created a new thing on our site called 64 Us, where every single product is $64, and that comes from a stat that economists gave us, where if during the holiday season, if Americans spend $64 on a holiday gift item or a Christmas gift item, we'd create 200,000 jobs just in this month alone.
How do you find the things that the items and the manufacturers that you put up here?
Well, at this point, we're fortunate enough, after being around for about a year and a half now, that vendors have been coming to us almost on a daily basis. At first, we actually had to travel to conventions all around the country and literally go, booth by booth and table by table to just, excuse me, to find vendors that do create products here. Then we went online and just, we have a great team here that works tirelessly around the clock to find products made in the USA. But again, now we're fortunate to have, our name get out there, and after a lot of media coverage and a lot of running around the country, we now have vendors contacting us.
And is there a brick and mortar store in your future, like the one in upstate New York?
We hope so. We hope so. We have a plan to launch kiosks in the near future, and possibly sections in other stores. But right now, we're strongly focusing on just making the site the perfect place for all Americans to shop to find American-made goods.
Oh, I wish I had known about this metal pegboard before I put up my pegboard, David. Now I might have to tear mine out and put in this metal stuff.
For all the tools, you mean?
Yeah, I'm looking at the automotive accessories category.
Of course you are, and I'm looking at the jewelry.
Yeah.
Nice earrings, by the way.
The first thing I saw was the pegboard hook kit and the metal pegboards.
I'll tell you what, if yours is made in China and you tell me you're going to tear it down, I'll send you this one on me.
Oh, come on. No, David, that's not necessary. Thanks for the offer. Appreciate it. But I'll get my own pegboard. That's okay. But I'm just fascinated to see that this stuff is reasonably priced. It's comparable to what you would pay going into one of the big box home stores and buying crappy pegboard.
Well, that's what's
from China.
really fascinated us about. We've been doing this Made in America segment for a couple of years now, and when we have these folks on, the stuff they're manufacturing is not more expensive. It is not. It's definitely competitively priced with the stuff that's made in China. So really, the only difference is that more money is staying here instead of going overseas or into CEO's pocket.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And again, wages there are rising, and we're going to have to crack down. The government's going to have to crack down on the currency manipulation that they do on a daily basis, and you're going to see things definitely sway in our direction, in our way, in our favor.
And it's interesting too, and almost sad. Well, it is kind of sad, but except that the outcome is the best possible outcome. That more jobs come over here when it's economically feasible for them to do so, for them to bring the jobs back. So it's not, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Yes, they're responding to consumer demand, but their bottom line is what they care about. And when it's cheaper to make stuff here, they're going to make stuff here.
That is true. That is true. But you can't underestimate the power of the consumer's voice.
That's true. I agree with you there.
Right, and people are willing to pay, even if it's a little bit more, they're willing to pay it to say, hey, at least I'm supporting folks in this country.
I agree. Right. And listen, I truly believe that if we don't start reinvesting in ourselves, like any good business model does, listen, China's kicking our butt right now. And, many European nations have publicly said that China they now consider as the number one economic force in the world. And in 5 years, it won't even be an argument anymore. If we don't start reinvesting in this country and reinvesting in manufacturing, and we have the perfect workforce to do it. We have hungry people out there that are looking for jobs. I mean, think about the veterans out there. There's a stat that really makes me crazy. You have veterans that are 25 years of age and under that have 30% unemployment. I mean, these people went out there and fought our battles for us, for our freedom and our liberty, and now they come home, and 30% of veterans that are still young men and women, 25 years of age and under, are unemployed. I mean, who better to get in the factories? They're dedicated workers, hard workers, disciplined workers.
And we've trained them. They're our resource.
There's no one better to get us out of this than our hardest and bravest working Americans.
Wow.
Well, I want to ask you this, David, because from time to time we have people on our Facebook page who have products that they are making and offering to our listeners. How does someone become a vendor on your site, and how does it work with what you charge them to be a vendor on the site?
Well, you go to keepamerica.com. There are several tabs to apply to be a vendor, or you can email us directly at info@keepamerica.com. It's a very simple process. We obviously have a contract that's very standard, but we have to make sure that everything is actually made in USA. After they're approved, we put them on the site. We upload the products for them, or they can upload it themselves. Everything goes through an approval process to make sure it's appropriate and safe, and all of the needed criteria. When they do list it on our site, we commission the sale at 20% of the retail price, which is a lot more margin for them than if they were to sell it at wholesale to a retailer.
Mm-hmm.
So they keep 80% of the retail price, which if you ask any manufacturer, and I come from manufacturing, usually it's about half of that you would keep when you sell it at wholesale to a retailer. So, it really is a benefit for the manufacturer, as well as, we pass on that savings to the consumer as well.
When you were in manufacturing, did you ever have to travel to China and see any of these factories?
I never went to China. I did go to Mexico a few years back, and that.
Nowadays, you see something that's made in Mexico.
You're like, yay,
it's like,
Mexico.
wow,
Right.
Mexican
Right.
quality.
Right.
Well,
right.
remember, made in Japan was a joke,
Right.
and now people want stuff made in Japan.
Yeah. But I never had to go to China.
Okay.
I do have friends in the jewelry business who did go to China, and they told me, they said, listen, you have to come with me. And I actually want to make the trip, because they told me, they said, listen, you don't understand what kind of factories they have over there. They're basically set up like schools with like 1 million classrooms, and people aren't allowed to speak. People aren't allowed to, and again, I'm not saying that every single factory is like this, but from dozens I've heard about, I mean, the working conditions are really, 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 really horrible.
Well, and you mentioned safety earlier for kids, but for adults, if you're going to wear jewelry, that's something that goes on your skin. You want to make sure that the metals are right, and there's nothing in there that's going to harm you in any way.
Yeah, you hear about cadmium in jewelry that's toxic. People put things in their mouth, or their kids get a hold of it and put it in their mouth, and I mean, the effects of cadmium or lead in children are so scary. I actually know somebody whose child, unfortunately, was did get contaminated by lead poisoning, and the effects in the brain are very scary. It's like a short circuit in your brain, and people don't realize the devastating effects of just one item you can purchase from somewhere that's unsafe.
Wow. Well, it's a fascinating site. You could spend a lot of time wandering around keepamerica.com. And it's things that are made in the United States that you can purchase for gifts for
in their entirety,
the
right?
holidays.
Every part of everything is made in the USA on your site.
Everything's 100% made in the United States. Yes, I mean there's some components. For example, let's say a certain component of an item that's just not found in the U.S.
Right, they're not made here, like a little electronic part or something. They're just not made here.
Right, things aren't available here, but the Made in USA standard, we follow all government standards, and Made in USA has to be the main purpose of the item is fully manufactured, fully assembled here, not just assembled, but fully manufactured here. But again, if there's a little component that's just not available in the U.S., but it's like a little adornment of the piece, then that's acceptable. But we're very, very selective when it comes to that.
Well, it's great to have you here. David Selectari, CEO of KeepAmerica.com. That's where you can find him and all these Made in USA things. If you're not done with your Christmas shopping, and I'm sure most of you aren't, what a great resource. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David. And when should people order by if they want stuff for the holidays?
You can order as late as the Friday or Saturday before Christmas. We have next day air options available as well as Saturday delivery. So we can get it right there for Christmas Eve.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Thanks. Merry Christmas to you
too,
as well.
Appreciate it.
KeepAmerica.com is the website. 888-876-2336. Asking what you're getting for folks for the holidays. 888-8-ROAD-DOG.